Good day, students. Today we will going to learn another math lesson, and that is the three-dimensional shapes, or we call that one as 3D. These shapes are solid or hollow, and you can hold them in your hand. They have three dimensions, that's why we call them as 3D or three-dimensional. They have the length, the width, and the height. Solid, or a shape that you can hold. A solid has the length, the width, and the height, and some of the examples of solids are the cube, the cylinder, the sphere, the cone, and the prism. Now let us identify the different parts of a solid. We have the surface. Surface is the curved part of a 3D shape. You can see surface in cylinders and cones. So when we say surface, these are the curved part of a solid. The curved part. We call that one as surface. Now, what is now the face? Face is a part of a 3D shape that is flat. Example of that one is a cube has 6 faces. So we have here the flat part of a solid is what we call a face. So we have here for the cube 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We have also the base. Base is the bottom face of a 3D object. So for a prism here, we have here the base. For the cube, the base part of this one is here. So that's it. It's the base. We have also the edge. Edge is the line where two faces meet. Example of faces is, okay, for a cube has 12 edges. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and so on and so forth. Okay, so a cube has 12 edges. We have also the corner. Corner is the point where 3 or more edges touch. This cube has 12 corners altogether. So that is what we call the corner. We have also the vertex or the vertices. Vertices is the point where 3 or more edges meet. Now for this cube, it has 12 vertices. Okay, so we can also call this vertex as the corner. Okay, this one is the corner, but when we say vertex, it's the point where two edges meet. Okay, so this is a vertex, this one is a vertex. It's a point where the two edges meet. This one is also a vertex. Okay, and so on and so forth. So let us start with our first solid figure or 3D figure. This one is a cube. Okay, cube is a 3D shape wherein you can hold it. It has 6 equal square faces. An example of a cube in our daily life is a box, blocks, or a dice. So always remember that the cube has 6 equal faces. So for a cube, it has 6 faces, all with the same size. It has 12 edges. So 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. And it has also 8 corners. So 1 corner, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And it has also 8 vertices. Okay, 8 corners and 8 vertices. So a cube is a three-dimensional shape which has 6 squares, faces, all same size, and 12 edges and 8 vertices. Some faces are parallel, some edges are also parallel, some faces are perpendicular, and some edges are also perpendicular. So that's it. This is one of the example of 3D shape, which we call this one as cube. Let's proceed with another solid figure or 3D figure. We call this one as sphere. Sphere sphere is a 3D shape wherein you can also hold that and you can also roll it. Okay, a sphere has no corners. It does not also have any edges. So example of sphere in our daily life is a ball, a globe, or a marble. Sphere is a perfectly round three-dimensional shape. It is like a ball and it has only one curved face. A sphere has zero face, zero edges, and it has also zero corners. It has also zero vertices since it is round. And now let's proceed with the cone. A cone is a 3D shape wherein you can also hold it and you can also roll it. A cone has a circle at its base, so we have here a circle base for the cone, and a curved face that comes to a point at its top, and this top is what we call the vertex. So we can use or we can see cone in our daily life as an ice cream cone or a party hat. So a cone is a three-dimensional shape made up of a circular base, so circle. It has a circular base, a curved surface that comes to a point at the top. A cone has zero edges and it has also zero corners. It has also zero vertices. Now let's proceed with cylinder. Cylinder is a 3D shape. You can also hold it and you can also roll it. A cylinder has two equal circles on its end. So we have here one circle also here. Example of cylinders in daily life is a soup can or a roll of toilet paper. So cylinder is a three-dimensional shape with one curved surface, two equal circles on its end. So two faces, 1 and 2, one surface, which is this one, zero edges, zero corners, and at the same time zero vertices. Now let's proceed to pyramid or pyramid. Pyramid is a three-dimensional shape which has a polygon on its base and a triangular faces which meet at one point, which is what we call a vertex. Okay, so let's proceed with rectangular prism. This is an example of a rectangular prism. A rectangular prism is a 3D shape wherein you can hold it. It has three rectangular faces, or six, it has six rectangular faces. And examples of rectangular prism in our daily life are the Kleenex box, a refrigerator, or a cereal box. So this is what we call a rectangular prism. Rectangular prism has six rectangular faces. Two of those faces are equal, 12 edges, and 8 corners. Rectangular prism has also 8 vertices. Rectangular prism is a 3D shape that has 6 rectangular faces, 12 edges, 8 vertices. Some faces are parallel, some edges are also parallel, some faces are perpendicular, and some edges are also perpendicular. Now, let's proceed with two-dimensional shapes or 2D. A while ago, we discussed the following three-dimensional figures, which we call them as solid figures. Now, this time, let's proceed with two-dimensional shapes or 2D. These shapes are flat, okay, and they can only be drawn on a paper. So when we say solid figure, those are figures that you can hold it, you can roll it. But when we say two-dimensional faces, these are type of figures wherein you can only say this one, or you can draw this one on a piece of paper. And the most important is they are flat. They have two dimensions wherein it it has only length and width. They are sometimes called plane shapes or plane figures. So since they are flat, so we call these two-dimensional shapes as plane shapes or plane figures. So we can classify a plane figure according to their sides. Sides are the lines that trace and count on the outside of a 2D shape. Example of a triangle. A triangle has 3 sides and a square has 4 sides. So let us count the sides of the triangle. 1, 2, 3, and the sides of a square. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we have also polygon. Polygons are two-dimensional shapes that have 3 or more sides made up of straight line or line segments. So always remember that a polygon is a plane figure, okay? And they are made up of line segments. Example of polygons are triangles, squares, and rectangles. So one of the examples of polygons are the quadrilaterals. Quadrilaterals are any two-dimensional shapes with 4 sides and 4 angles. Example of quadrilaterals are the rhombus. Example of a rhombus is a kite, rectangle, square, and trapezoid. Quadrilaterals are any two-dimensional shapes with 4 sides and 4 angles. The interior angle of a quadrilateral can up to 360 degrees. Now, what is a parallelogram? A parallelogram is a quadrilateral with parallel opposite sides of equal length. Okay, so when we say parallel, these are lines that do not meet. So for this one, okay, so the lines of a parallelogram does not meet. Okay, no matter how we extend. If we're going to extend this one, and if we're going to extend this line, these two lines will not meet. The same at this side. If we're going to extend this one, if we're going to extend this one, these two lines will not meet. That's why we call them as, or this figure as a parallelogram figure. Okay. Opposite angles are also equal. Now, let's proceed to rectangle. A rectangle is a 2D shape with 4 corners and 2 pairs of opposite equal parallel sides. A rectangle in daily life is a door. It could be also a piece of paper. A rectangle is a 2D shape with 4 corners, 2 pairs of opposite sides, or shall we say 2 pairs of opposite equal parallel sides. The sides of a rectangle are always right angles. Now let's proceed to a rhombus. A rhombus is this one. A rhombus is an example of a rhombus. A rhombus is a 2D shape with 4 sides. Okay, so a rhombus, all of its sides are equal in length. So the length of the side of the rhombus are all equal. Rhombus is a 2D 4-sided shapes with opposite sides that are parallel. All of the sides are with the same length. Diagonals of a rhombus bisect each other at right angles. So they form the diagonals. This one is a diagonal. So the diagonal of a rhombus forms a right angle. Right angles that measure 90 degrees. So we have also a trapezoid. Trapezoid is a polygon with 4 sides. One pair of its sides is a parallel. So one pair of it is a parallel, which means, okay, one pair of this one, this side and these sides are parallel, because no matter how we extend this side and also this side, they will not meet. But the other side of the trapezoid is not a parallel, because if we're going to extend this line and this line, it will surely meet. Okay, so a trapezoid is a polygon with only one pair, okay, of parallel sides. So we have also a circle. A circle is a 2D shape with no corners or any edges. Example of a circle in daily life is a clock. So we have also a semicircle, or shall we say half of a circle. Example of a circle in daily life is half of a pizza or half a pie. We have also square. Square is a 2D shape with 4 equal sides and 4 corners. Squares in daily life are window, floor tiles, or some ceiling. Okay. Square is a 2D shape wherein it has 4 equal sides and 4 right angles. Opposite sides of a square are also parallel to one another. A triangle is a 2-dimensional shape with 3 straight sides and 3 corners. So 3 straight sides and also forms 3 corners. Triangles in daily life, okay, is the front of the tent. Okay, if we can see a tent, the front face of that one is a triangle. Okay, so there are different types of triangle. Number 1 is an isosceles triangle. Number 2 is a right triangle. Number 3 is an equilateral triangle. And last one is scalene triangle. Okay, so let us proceed with some basic geometric shapes. We have number 1, line. Line is a long, thin mark that continues forever and it has no endpoint. So when we say here, this one is an example of a line. A line is composed of multiple points, and these points can still be extended infinitely in both directions. And it has no endpoints. Always remember that. Parallel lines are lines that are the same distance apart from each other. This type of lines stay the same distance apart for the whole length. They do not need to be straight or at the same length. They never intersect. So always remember that parallel lines are lines that do not meet or they do not intersect to one another. So if we're going to extend this one and if we're going to extend this one, these lines will not meet. Always remember that the position of the line must not be changed. Okay, so once there are any changes in a parallel line, so it will not be a parallel line anymore. Okay, so always remember that a parallel line is a line or lines that do not meet. So we have also perpendicular line. Perpendicular line are lines that intersect at a perfect right angle. So these two lines intersect to one another. This is line A. This one is also line B. And once they intersect, they created a right angle. That's why we call that one as a perpendicular line. The faces could be also a right angle to one another. This one is an example of a face of a rectangle or rectangular prism, and all of its angles are right angle. Okay, this one is also for a cube. All of the angle for the cube is a 90-degree angle. So we have also intersecting lines. Intersecting lines crossing over one another, or shall we say these lines intersect to one another and they have this what we call point of intersection. We have also the line segment. Line segment is a part of a line that has two endpoints. So line segment, if a line does not have any endpoint, a line segment has an endpoint, and that point is this one. These are the 2 points where the line ends. We have also a point. A point is a single position in space, or we can also associate point as a dot. We can also say that a point is a definite location in space. Distance. Distance is the length between 2 points or object. Okay, so this is point A, this is point B, and this is their distance to one another. We have also angles. Angles is a shape formed by two lines of rays that extend from a common point or common vertex. The amount of turning between two lines that meet at a common point is what we called vertex. So this is an example of an angle. An angle is formed by two rays, and that ray has their common point of intersection at this one. Okay, so once two rays meet, they created a vertex, and also they created this what we call the angle. Okay, vertex, we'll discuss this one. Vertex is the common point between two or more rays or line segment. Now, let us proceed with the following types of angle. We have acute angle. Acute angle is an angle that measures less than 90 degrees. Right angle is an angle that measures exactly 90 degrees. Obtuse angle is an angle that measures more than. Always remember, obtuse angle measures more than 90 degrees. Straight angle is an angle that measures exactly 180 degrees, or it forms a straight line. Okay, so we have also interior angles, any angle inside a polygon. Okay, so this one is an interior angle. Okay, congruent. Two figures are congruent if they have the same shape and size. Once they are the same, they are identical, we can say that this shape are congruent to one another. Two edges are congruent if they have the same length of measures. Okay, so two angles are congruent if the two figures have the same measure. We have also vertical angles. Vertical angles is a pair of angles directly opposite to one another. Okay, so vertical angles are congruent or equal. We have also the different types of triangle. Number one is an isosceles triangle, a triangle with two equal sides and two equal angles. Equilateral triangle is a kind of a triangle that has three equal sides and has also three equal angles. A right triangle is a triangle that measures, one of its angle measures 90 degrees. Scalene triangle is a type of triangle or kind of a triangle wherein all of its sides are different. So this one is the longest, this one is the second longest, and this one is the shortest. So once a triangle has a different length when it comes in their size, then that triangle is a scalene triangle. We have also symmetry. Symmetry, okay, it's an object. An object is symmetrical when you can fold it in half and the two halves are congruent. So when we divide this circle into half and when we fold it, they are congruent, or when we say congruent, they are equal. Okay, but when we say non-symmetric, these are type of figures wherein if we're going to cut them in at the center and if we're going to fold them, they are not congruent or they will not fit to one another. Okay, so when we say symmetry, it's an object. An object is symmetrical when you can fold it in half and the two halves are congruent to one another. Okay, so these are examples of symmetrical figures wherein if we're going to cut them into half, both sides are equal in length. This one also and this one also. Okay, so these figures are not symmetrical because if we're going to cut this one by this way and if we're going to fold it, okay, so they will not fit. Once they will not fit, then that figure is a not symmetrical figure or non-symmetrical figure. So that's it for our lesson today. Thank you, grade 6, for listening. I hope you've learned something new for today's lesson. And tomorrow we will going to have our live class and we will going to calculate and find the surface area of a solid figure. So thank you for listening, grade 6, and have a nice day.